Hey everyone, hope you all are doing well and having a great week. For today's passage, we're going to be focusing on the New Testament passage, Zechariah 8, verses 1 through 8. First of all, I encourage you guys to read the passage beforehand and come back to the video. And just to give you all a context on what's happening in this passage, Jews were fasting to mourn the destruction of their temple by Babylon. This continued for about 70 years, and generations has passed. There's been questions arising among the people about what the point of fasting after all these years. And God responded to them in three different ways. And first, God said, "You fasted for your own personal gains and not to show your love for God." And the second response was that even though you fasted, you've been unloving to your neighbor. This kind of negates the purpose of fasting, which is for spiritual reflection and getting closer to God. These two responses were kind of negative, kind of pointing out the flaws of God's people. But in the third response, we can see a loving God. We see a God who says He's jealous of His own people. This is not in a bad connotation. God is jealous for what is rightfully His. And His jealousy is promised to be turned into anger towards Babylonians. God explains the future He has planned for His people. God tells them about a thriving city of people of old and young age. He promises to dwell among His people and transform Jerusalem into a city of truth. Even though people in Jerusalem was fasting to mourn the destruction of their temple, religious corruption, hypocrisy still remained, and the city was far from being rebuilt. Here God is talking about a transformation of His people and His city, both physically and spiritually. If you look at this passage with the connection to the Lent we are observing, we had to ask ourselves, who are we doing this for? Is this for personal gain, or is it to glorify God? Is this a 50-day dietary cleanse, or is this your spiritual cleanse? And we have to ask ourselves, how are we going to live our life after the Lent is over? Are we going back to the life we've been living before, or are you closer to God than you were before? By finding answers to these questions, you'll be able to become what God called the city of truth. Like how God promises to rule over Jerusalem and transform it, allow God to rule over your life and transform you. All God asks is for the willingness of His people. This Lent season, let's prepare ourselves to be transformed by God. Be willing to let God work His transformation on you. I hope everybody has an amazing day and you'll have a blessed Lent season. Thank you.